Hello, everybody. Hi, how are you? Scott Haney coming to you from my home in the West End of Hartford. It is nice to see all of you out there. Wave your hands if you can see me. All right, I can't see you, so that's no fun. All right, I'm WFSB's Scott Haney. Welcome to the virtual version of the annual W.R.A.P fundraising event. Can you believe that we're doing this? How exciting is this? And it's all for the Channel 3 Kids Camp. No luncheon this year, but grab your favorite beverage. I know I've got mine right over here. It's non-alcoholic. Trust me. I promised Denise Hornbecker I would not drink. We have a busy and fun hour ahead. Please visit Channel 3 Kids Camp school auction net to bid on our terrific silent auction items. Make sure you stick around to listen to one of our favorite speakers, Gina Barreca. She is one of my all-time favorites. She reminds me of the marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Boy, if you've been watching that on Amazon, it is just hysterical. And Gina reminds me very much of that woman. Gina always has a funny perspective on how women take on the world, and boy, can we use that tonight, right? We're here tonight for a couple of reasons. One is why we have W.R.A.P. It's a celebration of the influence that women have in our world today. It's a chance to become involved in making a difference in the lives of children. Please join me in thanking our very generous sponsors, Key Bank, WFSB, Channel 3, Mints and Hoke, Scranton Motors, Rain Tech, and The Bulletin. It is their support that makes this event very possible tonight. The other reason why we're here, sadly, there's no summer camp this year. What a bummer, right? Overnight camps are not being permitted to open because of the risk of COVID-19. Ensuring the safety of kids and staff is the most important thing. So we had to make the hard decision to close the camp this summer. It really is a big blow to the camp and the community. But there are still costs to be covered. So we can come back strong in the spring. It's going to be the 111th summer next year, so we have to come back strong. Thousands of kids across Connecticut will need Channel 3 Kids Camp when life returns to being normal. Remember that all of the proceeds from the silent auction will support the Channel 3 Kids Camp, so please bid generously. Here's the website once again, channel3kidscamp.schoolauction.net, N-E-T. All right, at this time, I would like to introduce the Chief Executive Officer of the Channel 3 Kids Camp, Denise Hornbecker. Denise, how are you?
Hey, Scott, how are you tonight? Greetings to everybody from my home office in Colchester, Connecticut. It's kind of a crazy event here, but, you know, it's all about what we do for the kids. And, Scott, I can't thank you enough for this because I think in all the years I've known you, which is about 15 now, this is probably the craziest thing we've done together. And I'm a little bit like, whoa, what are we doing here? But, you know, I have a great staff. They have a lot of heart when it comes to taking care of our kids. And really, that was the whole reason we said, we're going to try to do this anyway. So from the bottom of my heart, Scott Haney, I want to thank you because I know we're edging in close to your bedtime tonight.
Well, Denise, I want you to do me a favor, and I want you to turn to your right and kiss the screen. We're going to kiss virtually. Ready? Mwah! We did it.
Yay. That's one for the books. That one I'm going to keep well in my heart. Thank you so much, Scott.
You are so welcome.
Tonight is kind of a bittersweet night for us, too. Not only are we not able to have camp this year, but we're missing someone who's been very dear to us for a lot of years. As you all know, we lost our dear friend, Denise, last December. And sorry, I look at this picture and I remember this day so vividly. I remember so many days because, you know, what people don't maybe remember is that Denise was my very first honoree all those years ago, 12, 13 years ago now. And, you know, we had a lot of fun times over the years. Working with her was an experience I'll never forget. I want to give a shout out to her daughter, Catherine, Catherine, I can't, you know, give you a hug today, but I want you to know that your mother and I shared a lot of stories about you and about my boys, because I have two sons as well, and many times talked about kids growing up together. And that's what the kids camp is all about. It's about kids growing up together and being brave kids. And your mom really had that very special place in my heart. So thank you, Catherine, for being with us tonight. I also want to thank my board chair, Jill Wood, who is one of the most remarkable women I've ever worked with. We have gone through lots of challenges over the last few months, to say the very least. You know, it's not easy to run a nonprofit organization at any time. And this pandemic has certainly put us in a tailspin that we couldn't have counted on. Not only are we not having camp this summer, we've had to lay off parts of our staff because we have no program, we have no funds coming in. So this fundraiser tonight is all about trying to keep the camp going. Those expenses that are with us, regardless if I have one child or 3,000 kids, I still have those same expenses. So, for us, this is a very important evening. It's helping to sustain an organization that has been at the heart of children for 110 years. This was supposed to be my last year. I had told them I was retiring at the end of this year. And, we had a lot of great plans. It was 110 years. We're having a big celebration. If you remember, in January, we put out our new logo, which you all saw while you were waiting to get on the show tonight. All of these things, a brand new website, a wonderful staff, people that were in place that were doing great things. I want to thank all of them. Brian Vance, our COO, and his wife, Jess Vance, who was our program director, a great combination of people who were working very hard for us. Catherine Poulin, Jana Turney. Jana is our event manager. All of a sudden I said, Jana, we're going to do this live. No, she got into it with everybody. Catherine got into it with everybody. The support team from Deb and Melissa Shea and Joan Gursky and everybody, the whole team, they're all in it together. We all tried our very best, and a lot of us completely out of our element. So if we have any hiccups tonight, I want you to please forgive us. At this time, again, I would like to introduce a video that was put together by a gentleman by the name of Kiwan Harrison. Kiwan is an interesting story because he was a camper, and he's gone on to be a counselor for us, and now has his own business, and he's very creative, and he started this great project for us, and it's called I'm a Camper, and I'd like to just show you this video.
I sort of immediately knew what it was all about. Kids all over the place, but with a sense of freedom about them, but also a close watch over them.
Community. I mean, really, it's been an amazing place. It's had an amazing effect on our family for many different reasons.
It's just all a big escape from everything that has happened. I'm Lucy Provost, and I'm a camper.
I am Courtney Provost, and I am a camper.
I'm Kyle Provost, and I am a camper.
I am Jay Hayden, and I am a camper.
Ik heiße Jermaine, and ich bin ein Camper.
Lavender and I are campers.
So Scott, this is our time when we always seem to try to put the best foot forward with folks and ask them to be that support that we need to be that camper. So I'm going to ask folks to consider supporting us tonight. It's not a fancy year this year. It's truly out of just need to be able to keep the lights on, keep the mortgage paid, and the insurance paid. I tell people my insurance is over $100,000 a year, and they just look at me like I have two heads. And
Right.
It's expensive to run a children's program today. And so I'm hoping that our very generous viewers will go on and look at the bottom right hand of their screen and make a very generous donation tonight.
Let's give them a little rundown of what things cost, Denise, because I think that would give a little attribution to some of the costs that we're facing. Families pay for camp on a sliding fee scale based on family size and income, with many kids qualifying for a rate of, are you ready for this? We only charge $155 for a week of summer camp. $155 for a week of summer camp. Now that week actually costs us $1,000 in food, staff, program materials, utilities, and the list goes on and on. We depend on donations from people like you and from companies, grants, and foundations. Now, for kids with special needs, depending on the staffing level, the cost to us ranges from $1,500 to $3,000 per child. Families usually pay no more than $950. And for the day camp, the fee is only $275 per child for 50 hours of quality programming. It actually costs the camp $600 per child. So this is why we're trying to raise some of that money out there and to keep the lights on. And Denise, I remember the cesspool. Remember the cesspool? What did it cost us? Like $1 million?
Yeah, it was 1.3 million.
For a cesspool that's underground that nobody sees.
I could pump a small third world country with the system that we were required to have for that septic system. It's, we're on a river and we have a lot of, there's just all kinds of rules about these things. And yep, it's an engineered system. You could actually climb in and walk down a little staircase and be one of the bellows of this thing. It's quite the thing.
All right, so we're going to start. This is our annual giving campaign here. I just asked for money, and if you can, you click on the screen, and you just give us the money, and we appreciate it very much. $1,000, that's our highest level. It will pay the full cost for one overnight camper for an entire week. So $1,000, that's the highest level that we've got. Once again, it pays the full cost, one overnight camper for an entire week. I can hear those clicks, Denise. I can hear them. Let's hope so.
I can hear them too.
All right, we're going to step down a scale. $500, sponsor a guest speaker or performer to educate and entertain. It's so important to bring in quality performers that can educate and entertain the children while they're there. They're there for an entire week. There's so much activity going on, but the cost of bringing in these people, it does cost us money, and we're trying to raise a little bit of money for that as well. So that's at the $500 level. So you can click on the $500 level for that. All right, the $250, that sponsors a program for 1 week. And Denise, there are so many different programs at the camp. I don't even know how you keep count of them all and keep track of them all.
There's a lot going on at camp. And what we try to do every year is to look at the programs that we offer. We're always making that attempt to encourage growth in our campers. If we get a child that starts with us at 8 years old and they're still there when they're like 11, we want to make sure that we're challenging them every step of the way.
Right.
We want that opportunity for them. I would just want to tell you that I'm seeing a little bit. I want to thank Sam Broomer for his generosity. Laura Saul, a longtime board member and volunteer to the kids camp. Thank you so much, Laura. These people not only give of their financial gifts, but they give of their time, and that is another way that people can really help this organization. It's amazing. Sam has been around for like 22 years. He took a little break for a while and came back. Laura, I'm sworn to secrecy. I'm not supposed to say how long Laura's been a volunteer, but suffice it to say it's been more than 25 years. Okay. So
Right.
When you people that have that much heart in working in our community, that's a huge thing. Thank you to John Holt. John Holt from Nutbank State Financial Credit Union is also one of my board members, and they've been wonderful in working with the kids camp and helping us through these tough times. So thank you, John. These are people that are supporting not only through their business, but through their own personal giving. And I just have to say thank you to them.
All right, the $100 level is a 1 week of meals for one child. If you'd like to give $100, that'll go for a week of delicious meals for one child, $100. The $50 level will buy an archery target or 50 pool noodles. We all, the kids don't even know how to swim when they get to the camp, a lot of these kids, and they're taught how to swim. I always say 80% of the earth is water. Learn to swim, and the Channel 3 Kids Camp helps provide that. And we could use all the noodles we could get. So $50 goes to buy 50 noodles or an archery target, which is just another amazing sport. And then our last level, Denise, is $25. 1 day of meals for one child. That includes 3 meals and 2 snacks. $25. Might not seem like a lot of money, but the money goes to such a great cause to feed the kids at the camp and to make sure that they're well nourished and that they don't go hungry while they're there at the camp. They're fed very well, and the quality of the food is just amazing. So that's at the $25 level, and that's our cash call. So we hope you're out there and you can give.
And we're getting gifts, and I want to say thank you. A couple more shout outs to Susan Baroni Schaefer, who has been a longtime staff member, recently retired. So we want to thank Susan for her generosity. Elaine Baisden from my board, thank you. Jill Wu, Becky Weber. These are all people who understand the importance of camp, and I can't thank you enough. So thank you so much.
All right. Susan Lederman is up next.
Susan Lederman. You know, Susan has been just a wonderful volunteer for the kids camp. I went and had dinner with Susan last night and some of her friends in a socially appropriate outdoors venue. And we had some great laughs, and her friends are just the salt of the earth. They love Susan. We love Susan. She's been our volunteer chair for 7 years with this event, and has just nudged her friends to come and to be table captains and to support us with their cash donations, and if they own businesses, to add items into our silent auction. She's been just that wonderful person, and I want to thank her so much. She's just been an angel for us. So I hope
she's an angel.
She is. Are you there, Susan?
Am. And the Oscar goes to all of you. I am so grateful for this honor that it sounds a little geeky, but I just can't believe it. You know, in life, when you do things, my father always said to me, Susan, let people like you for you, not what you have or just you. And when you can make a difference with such wonderful people, it is just so unfortunate that these children cannot go to camp this year. Because when I was a young girl, I came to the United States and I couldn't speak English. I was born in a displaced camp in Germany because my parents were both in the Holocaust. So I went to a school in Hartford and I was bullied because I couldn't speak English and I didn't have a middle name and I couldn't go to camp. And this Channel 3 Kids Camp is so dear to me, as other organizations that I'm involved with, because I want to give from the heart. I don't want any expectations. I want people to give from the heart, make a difference. I am so grateful. I keep on saying this for this honor, but I am grateful that I have 3 married children. My daughter helps children that are unfortunate and with certain disabilities. My daughter-in-law, Marcy, helps out in so many camps and gives so much of her time. My daughter-in-law, Jen, is the most giving person, and thanks to her job at Chewy's, all the cats and dogs are eating. My one son works for Geneva, which is a medical company. My other son's in computers, so keeps things alive. And my son-in-law. I have the best grandchildren in the world, of course, and my granddaughter graduated last night. How grateful can a person be when you have all these things? And with COVID, if people don't realize what is important, please help these children so that next year they can go to camp. We must make a difference. Kindness will win. And please don't give with no expectations and make a meaning in life. I'm wearing a bracelet now that I've done for so many people. Love, not hate. And I I just want to thank you so, so much. I am the most grateful person in Connecticut now, and I love all of you. And here is the hat for the end of my conversation. Together, we will make a difference. Please, please make a difference in life. I love strongly, and I love you all.
Oh my goodness. I don't even know what to say after that, Susan. Thank you so much. You are that person to me. You are the one who gives without expectation and has had this loving heart for us. And there's not a whole lot of people like you out there. So again, I want to just really thank you. And I especially want to thank your dear, dear friend, Debbie Hirsch, who I have gotten to know a little bit better over the last couple of years. And Debbie has been our honorary chair this year, helping us with this. And it wasn't exactly how we planned, but I really appreciate everything Debbie did. She is actually with Susan right now at her home, helping to make sure that we got Susan on with us tonight. So thank you again for that, Debbie. That was just really great of you. So if you felt moved by what Susan just said and shared with you, I'm going to ask you to let's keep that silent auction bidding. Let's keep that cash call going. Let's think about some small way that you can help the Channel 3 Kids Camp. You know, we've had more people giving. Another one of my dear board members, Ron Perrine. Not only does business help sponsor this, but now personally Ron is contributing as well. You know, these people, again, have no expectation of getting anything back for it. They're just looking to help. They're looking to make a difference for our kids. So please give generously and give from your heart, because at the end of the day, our children are our future. And if we don't set the example for them, where's their world going to be? Right now, I have the honor of introducing a video commercial that was put out by our key sponsor, which is Key Bank. Key Bank has been one of our very strong supporters for a number of years now, and especially presenting sponsor for this event, along with some other things they've done for us. I guess this is the 4th year that Key Bank has been our presenting sponsor. They're one of the nation's largest regional banks. They do financial wellness for 3 million clients across 15 states, including Connecticut. Their mission is to help customers and communities thrive, and their philanthropy in supporting youth and education, workforce development, and neighborhood strength and vitality here in Connecticut and across the country as well. We are so pleased to have them as a supporter of the Channel 3 Kids Camp. It's my pleasure to introduce a brief video done by Key Bank. Lakeisha Jordan, who is the corporate community officer for Key Bank Connecticut and Western Massachusetts. Lakeisha has sales and service responsibility for 70 Key Bank branches across the region and manages a team of 360 dedicated retail bankers and specialist financial advisors. She also serves as the co-chair of the local chapter of Key for Women, a program focused on advocating, connecting, and empowering women's business clients. So at this time, I'd like to introduce that video.
At first glance, America looks stopped, frozen, still. But look again. Across the country, we're working hard with people in our communities to keep America going, offering support, putting resources into new programs, and working with local leaders and businesses. Together, we're all moving America forward. Today, tomorrow, always. Key Bank, ready for tomorrow.
So I want to thank them again for helping us with this presentation tonight. I'm sorry, I thought someone else was going to introduce our speaker, but looks like it's going to be me. So I won't have the privilege of introducing someone who inspires me on a on a daily basis. I first met Gina Barreca, probably 10 years ago now, when I asked her to be a speaker for us at one of our luncheons. And we started to chat and realized how many things we had in common, both being girls from Brooklyn to start with, both being the same age. And she just has better hair than me. Dr. Barreca has an incredible background as not only an educator honorary at the University of Connecticut, but as a columnist and a writer. And if you have not read one of Gina Barreca's books, you're really missing out. And I have gotten to her book several times over the last few months and read a few chapters here and there, again, because I found them to be light and hearty and something that my soul could really enjoy. And so at this moment in time, there's just no other words but to say thank you, Gina Barreca, for loving Connecticut kids the way you do and for coming and being on our show again tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, can you see me?
I can see you, Gina.
Hello. Hi, I am delighted to be here. I've been incredibly moved through this whole thing. From the moment that Scott said, I was like Mrs. Maisel, which was fabulous. But then and I'm very grateful to Key Bank. But Denise, thank you, first of all, for what you just said, but also that camp video, the history, the images, that was astonishing. That was absolutely amazing. I found that, I think I saw versions of that probably since, I've given talks supporting the group before, but I don't think it ever hit me. Maybe the way that it just did, seeing it on the screen more intimately. And that made me even more impressed than I have been. I've known the good work that you do, but I think seeing the faces and the activities and the natural diversity and hearing the people talk and hearing the guy from, say in German, I'm a camper, and just hearing Susan's story and evidence of her astonishing, which of course, again, we know by reputation, but of her astonishing generosity and her good cheer and, the pride of just being in the world and feeling part of a community and being proud to sort of give as part of that community is the only thing that really matters. And it's genuinely inspiring. So I am always honored to be part of this, but I think I'm particularly honored to be here tonight. So, so let's talk about why it's important, particularly right now, to, first of all, none of us have been spending money, right? I mean, I'm looking at my credit card bill and there's like nothing on it. I mean, I haven't gone out to eat. I'm buying food like I live on a prairie. That somehow this is brought out. I don't live on a prairie. I'm much more Mrs. Maisel than like the pioneer woman, which someone told me about. I said, you might find those recipes interesting because I know I like to cook. And I'm like, no, pioneer is not my middle name. I don't look good in a Laura Ashley dress. Remember those, right? I'm 63. I grew up in the era of Laura Ashley dresses when those were supposed to be hip. And all these wonderful girls, these beautiful girls my age would like save up and get Laura Ashley dresses. And those were peasant dresses. And the only trouble with my putting on a Laura Ashley dress is when I put on a peasant dress, I look like a peasant. I look like I should be carrying a basket of escarole on my back, going up a hill in Sicily. All these other girls looked like something out of 17 magazine, and they had braids and everything. I looked like I was just coming out of, the bottom of Mount Etna, and like the mules were behind me with everything else I was supposed to be carrying. So it was a rather different sort of growing up. But I mean, I'm not going to my cheap clothing stores seeing if I could get a knockoff of something. I haven't been going out. Friends have made me masks because I don't myself sew, but they've been kind enough. And I've been kind enough to not make prairie meals, but make these vats of lasagna, which I see as life affirming and also curative of all diseases, and basically will get rid of any evil spirits that are anywhere. I'm I guess you couldn't call me deeply religious, but I sort of believe that my lasagna will cure things. I bet Anthony Fauci would agree with me. I bet he comes from the same kind of family, but he can't say that kind of stuff on TV. I can. And, but it's sort of it's a moment when we do count our blessings, as Susan said, and we do have to make sure that we savor every bit of great good fortune that we have had. And if we are walking upright, if we are on this side of the ground, even if we're not walking upright, I'm really happy to sit down and do these gigs. I don't have to put on heels. I'm wearing leggings. I mean, I always wear leggings, but I'm wearing leggings and flat shoes. I don't even have to pretend to put on heels anymore to do these sort of interactions. I'm really happy to do this version. I have nice jackets. I'm good with the jackets. I can put on the earrings, but I'm really happy not to have to fake it with the footwear. And so I will donate myself $1,000 to the Channel 3 Kids Camp tonight, because I am persuaded by the message. I always have been, but I know that this year it matters more than it's ever mattered before, because 110 years and a history of having given back, a history of having made accessible to people who otherwise wouldn't have access to these kinds of experiences, to kids who get to go outside and to know that there are birds and that there's fresh water and you get to play outside. I never went to camp. As a kid who grew up in Brooklyn, we slept on the fire escapes. I mean, that was our version of camp. And I remember when I actually got, one of my proudest moments was getting an award from the Girl Scouts of Connecticut. And that was when Teresa Younger, who's now head of the Ms. Foundation, was head of the Girl Scouts Association of Connecticut. And I got the storytelling badge, which in my family was called lying, but it's the storytelling badge. And it is one of the things that I have on my wall. It makes me enormously proud. And I had to get up and give a little talk. And I said, I grew up in Brooklyn. I didn't know that different birds had names. I didn't know that trees had names. I said, I never knew how to set a fire. And actually, Teresa came up and she tapped me on the shoulder during the talk, which is rare for someone to do that. And she said, Gina, we don't call it setting a fire in the Girl Scouts. She said, we call it making a fire. I was like, starting a fire. And I was like, okay, it was a different skill set than the one that I was raised with. So it's important for kids who otherwise wouldn't know that nature was not something dangerous, and that, as Scott said, that swimming was something essential to learn, even if we're not going to be part of like Kevin Costner's Water World, which I may be the only person to have seen that movie, where kids are given the opportunity to do that. So I am proud not only to be here tonight to support, I still sound like I'm from New York, to support the cause, but virtually, but to open my wallet and to be part of an effort for women philanthropically to make sure that we get our names on the bottoms of checks and send them to where our support will do a lot of good, and to know that we can make a difference to those who need us and depend on us to recognize the value of experiences that we could help them achieve and attain and have in their lives that they might not otherwise be able to grasp without a little bit of help. We need to offer our hands, even if we have to do it now in gloves, even if we need to do it with a mask on. They can still recognize sort of, the light in our eyes, even if somebody, can't actually see whether you're wearing lipstick or not. That's actually been another fun part. I can go to the supermarket without wearing lipstick. I really like that because in my entire adult life, I had never been outside my house without wearing lipstick until I was wearing a mask. And this is the feminist writers saying that, okay? I mean, I know better than to say that, and yet having grown up a girl and having had my life formed by all of those ideologies and expectations and cultural ideas about what girlhood and womanhood is. I got the mascara on. I was sitting here putting on whatever I have no idea how this looks because I'm trying to look into the camera and not look at myself. And yet, I'm still thinking about the moment I'm so looking forward to, even if I don't have to wear makeup now when I go to the supermarket. I'm really looking forward to when things get back to whatever version of our new world it's going to be. And I think, it's not only COVID that's going to make changes. There are other changes that are going on right now. And I hope that the world really will change for the better, and that the compassion that we have, the generosity that we have, not only in terms of our finances, but in terms of our soul, in terms of our collective soul, in terms of our ability to reach out to people in our communities, will be tapped in the best possible way. And that we'll realize, all of us who are and I include myself in this, I never talk about other people as if they're sort of out there and I've never had that experience. I talk generically about people's lives because I've been there. So when I talk about the fact that, women go out carrying 500-pound handbags, like women hold up half the sky, and we do it while carrying a 500-pound bag because we carry with us everything we could possibly need, which will now include, 45, hand wipes, extra pairs of gloves, extra masks, inhaler. Whatever we need to start carrying, we're going to start carrying for everybody. Black Lives Matter signs, we're equality for all, end injustice, hooray for the DACA decision, whatever signs we need. Now we're now carrying our bag right next to the mascara, the eyeliner, the blush, gum, all those other little antacid, the stuff that you need after a certain point in life, Band-Aids, aspirin, antacid, all of those things. And I suspect that now, there are a couple of guys who are going to be starting to carry those things too. There are going to be men walking around with those masks and gloves and maybe some gum and some aspirin and some Band-Aids. And they're going to be, I hope we're just going to lose some of the tightness of the roles that we were poured into, as opposed to the roles that we've chosen in our lives. And that's going to be the best part of things. So I'm happy to be a donor. Now I can, again, when I talk about supporting the kids camp, I can talk about myself as somebody who's happy to set the pace. So I think that Denise said that $1,000 will allow one kid to be there for an entire week. And that's great. And it's terrific that all kinds of kids are allowed to come. And I hope that people will bid on the silent auction. And I hope that, one day we'll all be able to really celebrate this in person and together again. I looked forward to those lunches. I remember being on the stage once at one of these lunches, not only with Denise DeCenzo, who really was, Denise brought the light with her. It was like she wasn't like a reflecting surface. She wasn't like the moon. She actually was like the sun. She brought it with her. She didn't just pick it up from other places and reflect it back. She actually contained it. And, but there was also one time when Nancy Wyman was there, and I think she was being honored. And I remember being up on the stage, and I think, Scott, you were there. And now I feel like, Dorothy from Wizard of Oz, and you, but we were all there. But Nancy and I got started talking to each other, and we both really dove into our Brooklyn accents. I would say that after, talk about Miss Basil, after maybe, I don't know, 10 minutes, maybe not even that long, maybe like 7 or 8 minutes, we were talking like we were really from Ocean Avenue. I mean, we got into the most New York where like someone is talking about coffee and you have to bring like a Cruella and coffee. And this is really how life works. And we were arguing back and forth and our voices are getting louder and louder. And there's Nancy with her red shoes. And I'm talking about, I can't wear those heels. And I don't know how she does it. And they numb her from the knee down. Then how can she walk? Because And I'm sounding increasingly like Joan Rivers, and so is she, for that matter. But there was always the luncheons have such energy that I hope we get back to doing them in person. But what we need to do, as Denise and as Joan, who I've been working with to do this, and as Scott was emphasizing, we need to make sure that things stay in place so that we can, sort of keep the stitches. The stitches won't be as fine because the kids aren't there. So usually the stitches are little and every day is different. So this summer there'll be big stitches, but the idea is to keep the entity held together so that next year we can go back and put that quilt of all these different lives together. See how I'm trying to make a domestic feminine analogy there? I thought that was really, that's the pioneer woman coming out of me. That was probably in that one episode. She was probably making like quilted brownies or something like that. It's really hard to do this without seeing anybody's faces. I feel like Stephen Colbert. I suddenly understand when it's like for Stephen Colbert to do this without anybody looking on. And now I'm going to ask if should I can keep talk. God, I could keep talking for 3 hours. I don't know how long we want to be here. I could keep going, but maybe someone could write to me on the little thing here because I could put glasses on, but I actually didn't bring any in. So you can tell me. Hi, Denise. Hi, Denise. You there? So I'm donating that grant. I'm serious.
I heard that. And you know something? You are the most generous. And Scott taught me this. You're supposed to like go toward me and I'm going to give you a little kiss on the cheek. And so,
okay. Mwah. Look, we blend. We blend.
A little bit of a kiss and a socially distanced kiss. So yes, and a toast to you as well. I have a funny thing to tell you now. So we talked about this virtual opportunity, and of course I am nowhere near the speaker that you are or that Scott is, and I feel like I'm in the center of this thing. And
you're doing wonderfully.
Move my head a certain way, and I'm sitting on my little chair in my little home office, and I'm not really sure that I'm doing all the right things. And we did do a little boo-boo, so I have to kind of backtrack a little bit because there was a lovely introduction for you that somehow did not get into the loop or whatever. I'm not really sure. But if you will just indulge us all for just a couple, we do have a wonderful tribute introduction to you that I'm sure you'd love to hear, and we'd love to be able to show.
Denise, this is what they used to do on dates. It's like meet her first, then we'll introduce you. We're not going to introduce you until you see if you like her and see if she gives you money. If she gives you money, then we'll do the nice introduction. No one told me I had to pay, but I knew I had to pay to get the introduction. So it's good.
Okay.
It's good. Give me a credit card number.
Thank you for understanding. So I guess we are going to have a nice introduction, and this again is Lakeisha, who is from KeyBank, and I guess she had already taped this all up for us, and whoever's running the show, let it roll.
Channel 3 Kids Camp through today's challenges so they can successfully reopen their doors tomorrow. We are proud to serve as presenting sponsor for this virtual fundraiser and thank all of you for joining us. To say we are operating in challenging times is an understatement. The pandemic has put our community at serious health risk with too many lives already lost. It has weakened our economy, closed businesses, put people out of work, and disrupted all of our lives to some extent. It has also highlighted systemic inequities across our community and has been the backdrop for a much needed public reckoning on racism and social injustice. As a community bank built on a foundation of valuing diversity, equity, and inclusion, we believe in helping our customers and communities thrive. And that includes standing up during the most challenging times to support our neighbors. Channel 3 Kids Camp is one of our neighbors. For the past 4 years, we have supported the camp because we believe children of all abilities, families, and communities deserve educational and recreational programs that promote diversity, acceptance, and environmental appreciation. We are saddened that the camp had to close this summer due to COVID and are committed to helping sustain it financially until it can safely reopen for our children and families next summer. Thank you for joining us in this effort. I want to take a moment to congratulate honoree Susan Lederman of Pizzazz for her community service. As a woman small business owner who gives back so generously to her community, Susan is a strong example of a woman raising awareness philanthropically. She is what KeyBank's Key for Women program is all about, advocating, connecting, and empowering women business owners who are driving the economic vitality of our community. Key for Women is proud to support many business owners throughout Connecticut and Massachusetts, particularly during these unprecedented times. We invite you to visit key.com/women to learn more about us. It is now my great pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker, Dr. Gina Baraka. Gina just might be the funniest college professor you'll ever meet. Called Smart and Funny by People magazine and Very, Very Funny for a Woman by Dave Barry, Gina was deemed a feminist humor maven by Ms. Magazine. She has appeared on 2020, The Today Show, CNN, the BBC, and yes, on Oprah to discuss gender, power, politics, and humor. Her blog in Psychology Today has received nearly 7 million views. Gina's work has appeared in most major publications, including the New York Times, the Independent of London, the Chronicle of Higher Education, Cosmopolitan, and the Harvard Business Review. As a Board of Trustees Distinguished Professor of English at the University of Connecticut, Gina is also the winner of UConn's highest award for excellence in teaching. Her books have been translated into multiple languages. We're excited for her latest to come this fall. The book is called Fast, Funny Women, and in it, Gina has edited a collection of 75 nonfiction pieces written by internationally celebrated women authors and dazzlingly hilarious newcomers. They provide a feast of insights, generously garnished with wit, spice, and exhilarating attention to craft. Originally from Brooklyn, Gina now considers Connecticut her home. We are lucky that she is so generous with her time and talent to support organizations like Channel 3 Kids Camp. It is my great pleasure, on behalf of KeyBank, to introduce our keynote speaker, Gina Baraka.
Hi again.
Well, that was Gina knocked it out of the park, and I just saw a woman go by my house in heels carrying a bag of escarole and a 500-pound purse with no lipstick on.
I know your neighborhood, Scott.
You know, it's so funny. Gina was talking about the clothing we're wearing. I got dressed up, Denise, and I see you got dressed up too. But I do need to let you know that I am in shorts and flip-flops from here down.
Well, I'm in shorts and bare feet from there down, so that's okay. You know? I feel like I'm part of the FSB team because I remember years ago going to the station. I think you all were still downtown Hartford at the time. And I walked in and Mark Dixon, God bless him, was there with a suit jacket, a shirt and tie like yours with the jacket on, but then he had shorts and flip-flops on, and I that stuck in my head like, oh my goodness, that's how you go on TV. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Hey, we have a little time. Let's drive home the points again. The $1,000 level, pay for the cost, one night overnight camper for a week. The $500 sponsor a guest speaker, performer to educate and entertain. That's at the $500 level. Sponsor a program for a week is the $250 level. The 1 week of meals for one child, $100. You can buy an archery target or 50 pool noodles for $50 and $25 1 day of meals for one child. That includes 3 meals and 2 snacks. Don't forget, in addition to providing for the campers, there's things like the mortgage, the electricity, the phone, the internet, insurances, as you said, $100,000 worth of insurance a year, oil and propane, some of the things we just don't think about. This stuff doesn't grow on trees. and of course, normal maintenance to keep the camp in the pristine condition that you've gotten it in. So we want to thank you, Denise. We want to thank Susan. We want to thank everybody out there who, and Gina for making us laugh tonight. She had me in stitches, literally. And those stitches will keep us right going into next year, as she mentioned. She's making a quilt, and we're all going to join in the fun.
Absolutely. You know, all of you are the thread on this quilt. You know, each of us is a patch, and we need the thread to keep it together. And this is what this year is all about. This year is survival. This year is looking at everything that we have and maintaining it and preserving it so that the next group of children will come and enjoy that 111th season. You know, we've had a few more very generous donations coming in. I just shout out a little bit to Betty Jo Bakulis, another one of my wonderful.
Oh, Betty Jo, I love Betty Jo.
Elaine Bouchard, Marion from 3 Martini Travel, Lynn Dwyer, Kathleen Gladding, a long 40-plus year friend of mine, dear friend, best friend, who has supported the kids camp all the years that I've worked there. So thank you for that, Kathy. I know you can't see me, but thank you for that. You know, it's all about people. That's what the camp is about. We're teaching children to maybe help with the situations that are going on in our world right now, so that the children that come to our camp, they have that understanding of acceptance and diversity and kindness. You know, we have children from all walks of life that come to the Channel 3 Kids Camp. You know, it's not just children who are in foster care. It's children that come from hard working families. It's children whose parents have passed away and are being raised by grandparents. It's children who may have a physical or cognitive disability. It's all children. And that's the heart of the message tonight. We want to be there for all children. So again, on behalf of all of us at the Channel 3 Kids Camp, from leadership, from our board members, from our corporate partners that have, you know, stuck with us and done this crazy night, I can't thank you enough. And Scott, you are Scott Haney. What else can I say? You are always for me. So thank you. I don't ever said no to me.
I can't believe this. We actually pulled this off tonight. We want to thank Kathy Poulin, who's behind the scenes with the director and the producer of the show. And I know there's a couple of other people back there that I'm sure I'm forgetting to mention, but thank you for helping us with this production. And you know, in closing, we just want to say thank you again for joining us tonight. Hopefully you've been entertained and you're committed, as we are, to making sure that we're here for Connecticut's children in the summer of next year. So please get those last minute bids in. If you've won a silent auction item, you will receive an email notifying you that you have won, and we're going to follow up to get it to you. On behalf of all of us who have the honor of being a part of the Channel 3 Kids Camp, thank you so much. Thank you for supporting this event. If you're interested in making an additional contribution to the Channel 3 Kids Camp, hopefully you can still do that on your screen, or you can call one of the angels at Channel 3. Her name is Deb Walters, who I just love. And her number, you can get her by calling 860-742-CAMP. That's 860-742-CAMP or 2267, and make a donation at any time, any dollar amount, you know, Denise, $10, $20, $50, $100.
It all helps. You know, John Holt just called in another donation. Thank you, John. On top of the first one he made, I guess he liked what he heard tonight. And another great friend of Karen
That's
Osborne.
because I have to take John Holt out for his 50th birthday on Saturday, so I'm sure that's going to cost me a fortune.
It's his 50th birthday on Saturday?
He just turned 50.
Oh my goodness, you young guys, I don't know. Great life. So on behalf of the staff and the board, and again, I want to thank all of my staff, because I asked people to do things that stepped out of their comfort zones on this. I stepped out of my comfort zone, but it's so important. It's important for the children. It's important for the future of this organization. 110 years. This was not the year we planned. This is not the celebratory big event that we had planned for. You know, we were looking for a gala. We were looking to raise incredible money this year on our 110th anniversary. And we know that so many people have so many challenges this year. So Every gift matters. Every gift counts. And thank you from the bottom of our hearts, from my wonderful staff, from our board of directors, and most importantly, for that child that you are not realizing tonight, but in some point in their lives, you're going to make an incredible impact on it because you cared enough to give tonight. So thank you.